Pensions are the single most powerful wealth building tool most people will ever have, and yet barely anyone understands how they really work. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how pensions work here in the UK, how to build them, grow them, and use them to retire early, if that's what you want. We're going to cut through the jargon so you can unlock their full potential, because the sooner you understand pensions, the sooner you can use them to create a life on your own terms. Hi folks, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Pete Matthew. I'm a UK-based chartered financial planner, and I'm the author of the Meaningful Money Retirement Guide, which is out now. Today, we're diving deep into UK pensions, how they work, the types you might have, how you get free money paid into them, how they grow, and crucially, how you take your money out at the end. We're going to break it all down into 5 clear sections. Firstly, the different types of pension, then how pensions give you free money, how they are taxed, how they grow over time, and how you access them in retirement. So grab a brew, this one is worth sticking around for. First, let's get clear on the different types of pension, because understanding the foundations will make everything else make more sense. There are 2 main categories of pension. We've got workplace pensions that you get through your employer, and then personal pensions that you set up for yourself. Now, workplace pensions will be one of 2 main types. Yeah, a further subdivision. You've got defined benefit pensions, also known as final salary or sometimes career average pensions. And then you've got defined contribution pensions, the more modern pot-based pensions. So let's look at each, starting with defined benefit. And these are the gold-plated kind of pensions. You build up a guaranteed income for life. It's based on your salary and how long you are a member of the scheme. That's usually the same length of time that you have worked for your employer. Not always though. Sometimes the employer will close down a scheme and your membership of the scheme will end at that point. There's no investment risk. There's no market volatility. Everything is handled for you. DB schemes are most common in the public sector, so NHS, teachers, armed forces, and there are some older schemes with big private companies, but they're becoming much rarer. So if you've got one, be grateful because they are extremely valuable. Then we've got defined contribution pensions, and here you and your employer contribute to a pension pot. It's a fund, and that fund is invested and it grows over time. What you end up with at retirement depends on how much you've paid in, how well the investments perform, and what options you choose when you retire. DC pensions are the type that most people have these days, especially if you've been auto-enrolled into the pension scheme by your employer. So that's workplace pensions, but then we've got personal pensions. And if you're self-employed or you just want more control, you might set up a personal pension. And these are pretty much always defined contribution pensions. So whether it's called a SIP, a stakeholder pension, or it's just labeled a private pension, they all work the same way. Right, let's talk about the main reason why pensions are ridiculously powerful. It's something called tax relief. And this is the government giving you back some tax that you would otherwise have to pay to encourage you to save into pensions. It's free money insofar as you have a choice. You pay it to the revenue or you pay it into your pension. So here's how it works. If you're employed, pension contributions usually come out of your salary before tax. So for every £100 you put in, it's only really costing you £80 or even less if you're a higher rate taxpayer, because you would have had to have paid the difference in tax. If it's a personal pension, you pay £80 in and the government tops it up to £100. Higher rate taxpayers can claim even more back via their tax return. But here's where it gets even better, at least for some of us. Employer contributions. Because if you're in a workplace pension, your employer has to pay in too. And it's on top of your salary. Some employers will even match your contribution up to a certain percentage. If you and your employer put in the minimum percentage that you have to, that same £80 you put in could turn into £160 or more immediately thanks to your employer's contribution and tax relief. That is an overnight doubling of your money. Find me a savings account or a property investment that can do that. I will wait. Okay, let's look at how pensions are taxed. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's always a trade-off. No such thing as a free lunch and all that. Yes, pensions are tax advantaged on the way in, and they grow tax-free too. But you will likely pay some income tax one day when you take the money out. More on that shortly. That said, the long-term benefits far outweigh this. You are growing wealth in a tax-efficient way, often with employer top-ups and government incentives. Even allowing for paying some tax on the way out, the returns are always better than the equivalent ISA, say, for the same amount of your money going in and the same underlying investment. Look, if this is useful so far, why not hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Also, I'll say it again, my new book, The Meaningful Money Retirement Guide, is available now. And this is the one book you need to plan and execute the perfect retirement. Let's come back to our two types of pension again, starting with defined benefit pensions. And here, you're not building up a pot, you're not building up a fund of money. You are accruing, that is building, a right to an income one day. Every year in the pension scheme boosts the amount of income you're going to get one day. And when it does pay out, that income usually increases each year to keep pace with inflation. This is called indexation. And so it's pretty simple. You keep working, you keep paying in, and the benefits build. With defined contribution or DC pensions, you are actively building a pot of money. And the size that that pot grows to depends on your contributions, your employer's contributions, the tax relief, and the investment performance over time. The bigger the pot, the more it will provide for you when the time comes to stop paying in and start drawing money out. The key takeaway here is that the earlier you start and the more consistent you are, the more powerful compound growth becomes, the bigger the pot gets. And let me just say this, pensions are for the living. You're not just saving for some distant grey retirement, you're building financial freedom, perhaps even with the ability to stop working years early. That's the real win here. Okay. The last bit, this is how you access your pension, and it's crucial to understand. With a defined benefit pension, you will get a regular rising income from the scheme's retirement age. It's just like a salary really, complete with pay slips and a P60 every April. And yes, it is taxed as income. You might be able to take a tax-free lump sum at the start. Either the scheme will include a lump sum by default, or you might be able to exchange or commute some of your pension for a larger lump sum. If you die, your spouse or your partner will usually get a reduced income for the rest of their life. You may even have the option to take benefits early. But for every year early that you start drawing your pension, the income that you get will be reduced because it's going to have to pay you for longer. In any case, you can't draw any pension before the national minimum pension age, which right now in 2025 is age 55, but it's rising from 2028 to age 57. But you might be able to combine an early drawn pension with a part-time job maybe to give you the income you need and a load more free time. Contact your pension scheme for some figures about what you might get from the scheme at different ages so that you can plan. With a defined contribution pension, you've got choices, you've got flexibility, but you've also got responsibility. From your normal minimum retirement age, again that's currently 55 but rising to 57 in 2028, you can take up to 25% of your pot tax-free, use the rest to buy something called an annuity, which is a guaranteed income similar to what you'd get from a DB pension. Or you can go into some form of drawdown where your pension pot after tax-free cash stays invested. And you can take income or ad hoc lump sums as and when you like. You can combine these methods and even opt for something called UF+, which gives you the option to take ad hoc or regular lump sums in a fairly tax-efficient manner, because 25% of every payment will be tax-free. But be careful, draw too much too quickly from your DC pension and you could burn through the whole pot. Take too little and you might not enjoy the kind of lifestyle that you've worked for. And this is where proper financial planning can make all the difference. And on that note, if you want to get serious about doing your own financial planning, check out Meaningful Academy. Depending on what phase of life you're in, the Build Wealth and Retirement Planning courses will equip you to organize and plan your finances. There are video lessons, worksheets, a thriving community, live Q&A calls with me, and a year's free access to the Voyant Go planning software, which I use every day with my clients, and I'll teach you how to use it. So check out meaningfulacademy.com to see if it's for you and use the coupon code YouTube if you decide to sign up. There's a 30-day no questions asked guarantee too, so definitely check it out today. Okay, to wrap this up now, pensions are incredible. If you understand how they work and if you use them properly, They can give you freedom, flexibility, options, and peace of mind. Sure, you can't use them until age 55, soon 57, but that's still an early retirement by any measure, at least 10 years earlier than the state pension age. And remember, this isn't just about saving for your late 60s or 70s. It's about using pensions combined with other options like ISAs to live a rich life, maybe retiring early, switching to part-time work, or doing something completely different. Life is for living, so build your wealth intentionally and don't leave this powerful tool on the table. As ever, please like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to know how pensions really work. And if you haven't watched the previous video about the one reason you should think about retiring as soon as you can, check it out over here. I'll see you next time. Cheers.